hoş geldiniz. Excellencies, distinguished guests, thank you for joining us for this special occasion celebrating the 103rd anniversary of the great victory.
Marking the 13th of August Victory Day and the Turkish Armed Forces Day, I would like to welcome you all. Today, we experience the rightful pride and the excitement of celebrating the 103rd anniversary of the great victory, initiated with the cry of independence or death, under the leadership of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. The Victory Day is an outstanding achievement and one of our glorious victories. The very day on which this great victory was won and dedicated to our armed forces and commemorated as the Turkish Armed Forces Day as well.
And my first ever hosting reception in my role as ambassador designate yet, after I present my credentials to His Majesty the King, then I will be an ambassador fully. But then I will do a small pirate talk, if you allow me, and pirating a bit of a diplomatic view on a day, a military day, which we all celebrate. I stand before you also as a granddaughter of the soldiers who fought that battle, who have left the family a heritage of protecting the land that they have fought for and they have sacrificed, and also of women who also did that. So I'd like to say a few words on what happened that week, this week, the 26th to 13th, 4 days. What happened in those 4 days? Well, how crucial it was for us, that victory, and why 103rd year we still have teams of heaps of people going to the war fields, trying to discover the new fields of burials and trying to give this heritage to our next generations. Because this was, if there were ever a war, an uphill battle, this was it. They didn't have enough ammunition, they didn't have enough people, and in the course of 3 years that they have started that war of independence, the Mustafa Kemal Atatürk and his friends, comrades in arms, coming from very different parts of the history, the country, and different parts of the society, forming a parliament first. And then from that parliament, they took the mandate to form an army. And from that army, they had to inform the parliament every time there was a battle. They lost battles in the meanwhile, because the army, the Greek army, which occupied Anatolia, Asia Minor, with the help of other allies at that time, was actually coming closer to where they were, Ankara. Everybody who has never been to Ankara, you have all visited Ankara, the capital of Turkey, not Istanbul? Okay. So Ankara and the warfield, which you could see on the maps here, it's about 40-45 kilometers. 60 kilometers to the war, Sakarya, today where it's Gordion, as you might know it, the land of Miras. And then Afyon, where the severe battles had happened. It's about 3 hours drive now. Yeah. So the enemy was very close to the heart of the matter. And this was a battle. If they won, they were going to have the victory. If they lost, they were going to lose everything. This is why, for military, you may study this about the red and the blue powers and everybody. But for us, when we see the sacrifice and the miracles that happened, there were people, civilians, who fought. We don't know how many. We don't know actually how many civilians took part in the whole of the independence war. What we know, during this battle of 4 days, we lost about 2,900 soldiers. All independence war, the number of martyrs we had about 14,000. But the number of civilian deaths during the atrocities committed of the occupation forces were 640,000. So this was a war of survival or not, to be or not to be. So this is why today we celebrate that we won the victory. However, Atatürk was a very good diplomat. To make sure that we understand, after this war, what happened a year later, we had the Lausanne Treaty, which is the land title, and because of this war of modern Turkey. And then what happened is that he made peace, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as today we exist, we try to sustain that peace. He made peace with his former enemies. We are now allies with all the soldiers who fought under that red signs. We are now allies. Within NATO, we stand together. We stand together to defend our values, and we stand together to deter enemies, and we stand together also to make sure that our sons and daughters will not have to go through those survival wars. Unfortunately, in Europe today, there are wars happening, which we thought would never happen. And so it means we have to be standing prepared, ready, deterrent. And that's why we thank our members of military, men and women who serve, who are ready to sacrifice, and therefore we are, as the diplomatic service, do our most to sustain peace, so that we will never need your services, although we pay you enough. So, thank you very much again to all men and women who represent their countries today. And if you allow me, I would like to do a very small introduction to what I have said in Turkish. And thank you very much for your patience, and I hope you will enjoy the food and the drinks and enjoy the sun, which may be the last of the Hague can give us. So please enjoy the residence, and it's an honor. Thank you again. Silahlı kuvvetlerinin mensupları, saygıdeğer vatandaşlarımız, büyükelçilik mensuplarımız, Türk basınının değerli mensupları. Sizlerle burada bu ilk resepsiyonda buluşma şerefi gerçekten büyük. Bugün 103. Yıl dönümünü kutladığımız 30 Ağustos Zaferi büyük bir zafer ve varoluşla ilgili bir zafer bu. Yani bu zafer olmasaydı, bu savaşı kazanamasaydık biz bugün yoktuk. Bu kadar basit. Dolayısıyla bu zaferi bize hediye eden Gazi Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, bütün komutanlar, bütün askerler, Allah rahmet eylesin, cennette inşallah onlarla bize de komşu olmayı nasip etsin, bütün şehitlerimizle beraber. Bu savaş, Kurtuluş Savaşı'nda 13.000 şehit verdik aşağı yukarı. Bizim terörle mücadelede verdiğimiz şehit sayısı bundan daha fazla. Dolayısıyla o ülkeyi, bu ülkeyi bize bir bütün olarak hediye eden şehitlerimize, o zamanın savaşçılarına borcumuz bu emaneti tutmak, çocuklarımıza da sapasağlam vermek. Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımız Recep Tayyip Erdoğan'ın konuşma metinlerinde dağıtılmış olan göreceksiniz. Buradan alacağımız çok ders var. İçeride ve dışarıda kuvvetli, güçlü bir Türkiye için hep birlikte bayrak altında bu mücadeleye devam edeceğiz. Saygılarımı sunuyorum. Hoş geldiniz diyorum. Buyurun.
Değerli konuklarımız.
Hadi birisi.
Fotoğraflar.
Sen